Okay, for the next principle is the sixth principle. The sixth principle said that communication can be predicted by the communication parties or the people that um, are in the communication process that happen. For example, like whenever you guys know that your mother is having a good mood, then you guys can easily get your additional money, yeah. But whenever you know that your mother is in a bad condition of feeling, then you guys will will predict if whenever you guys want to ask your additional money, then it might be getting worse about her anger, yeah. So sometimes we can predict it. Also happen whenever you guys do like sorry for late come into the campus, whenever the schedule is uh, it's scheduled in the early morning, but then you guys come late. We will You will predict that your lecturer will get angry with you, or you will not get the permission to join the class, like that. So in some degree of communication, people can predict what the communication will be, or how the people or the parties of the communication will give the meaning. Communication in general can be predict with our social meaning, um, uh, that done by the social society before about our behavior, because the culture and also the society also will impact to our behavior and give the meaning. Whenever we do something, then we might be like that, or like this. So the meaning also come from the society itself, so we can predict whether it will be uh, like what. Okay, the seventh principle is about communication is a systemic process, because human is also uh, to be called as a living system. We have two kind of system, that is internal and the external. The internal is the system that built in ourselves, that is affected from our society, that is affected from our environment. For example, like how our mothers or our parents raise up us, yeah, with the family values, and how we get experience in the education level, and also about our community, in religion community. Or for example, you have kind of hobbies that also will impact to you guys about how you think, about how you experience life. So with those kind of values, or with those kind of experiences, you guys will interpret about the world and about others, yeah. So it also will effect to our communication, about the way we talk, the way we think, and the way we give the meaning about communication. It's also can be called as the mind framework, or thinking framework. And also about we can also mention it as um, the framework of experiences, because it's belong to those kind of things. That's for the internal system. But for the external system, It is like whatever the element that belong to the people in their outside, yeah. For example, like the situation, the space and time situation, and about, for example, how the other ways talking, the others communicate, ways of communicate, ya. Ini tergantung pada, kalau eksternal tuh lebih kepada luarnya, luar dari diri kita. For example, like intonasi seorang ketika berbicara seperti itu, kemudian apa namanya, space and time, context, it's also uh, belong to this system, external system, because whenever we do the communication, we will also uh, how to say, think about um, and think about this external system. So that's all for the seventh principle. The eighth principle is about the more similar your big social culture background, the more effective communication will be. It's mean that because we have a lot of social cultural background, for example, like ethnic, religion, social economic, how to say, degree, yeah, or level, and also about educational, for example, maybe about the language. It's also kind of socio cultural element, or background. So whenever we have the more different socio-cultural background, then the communication will be harder. Yeah, it's not like the most easy, the more easy or easier whenever we have like a socio, the same, or the more similar socio cultural. For example, the person who just meet in the first time, and they know that they are belong to the same region. For example, they are a Javanese person, that is it he might they might from the eastern of Java, then it will be more easier to them to communicate. They have the same language, for example, they have the same slang, and also it's also about the lifestyle, yeah. So it's easier. And a bit example about I just experienced this semester, that actually we have one international student came from Yemen, but because of the condition of their language abilities, in English abilities is not that good. So he, you know, that is Gaber, yeah. So he left, yeah. It's also can be the simple example for us, that the more similar our background, then the it will be easier for us to do the communication. Okay, the next is the ninth principle. It says that communication is non-sequential process. Non-sequential means that communication is a dynamic and a circular. It means that actually communication is done in two ways. Yeah, so actually the receiver also do the feedback, but the 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 happening is like the communicator have no chance, or have no chance to respond, or have no chance to hear or receive the feedback from the receiver. So actually, whenever we do communication, we do it in two ways. So it's called circular. So like that. Okay, the next two, the 11th principle is say that communication is irreversible. You can remember the sentence that to forget to forgive but not to forget. It's meant that communication it can be erased because actually we can do the communication but we cannot erase that. You might be make something in unintentional to the others, and the others might be broken heart to you guys, but once you get the forgive from them, uh, but then it's also the next thing is the memories can be erased, ya. Tidak akan bisa dihapus walaupun kalian mendapatkan maaf gitu. Jadi it's called that communication is irreversible. And for the last is communication is not the only panacea. Panacea means kind of the good medicine, yeah, the good medicine. Like we know that people say that communication can solve the problem, but it's not only the matter, yeah, because the conflict and the problem is also can be rise in any time with any kind of element or factors that affected it, yeah. But then the communication is not the only one medicine or the only one way to solve the problem. It's mean that the communication also need the support from the others, for example like structural or or sorry, regulation of the government, for example, and how the NGO or the society also do and support the communication. For example, in this pandemic situation, right? You know, guys, that we or the government already produce the commercial sorry produce the social campaign about the health protocol, ya. Bagaimana penggunaan masker yang baik, about social distancing, about any kind of issues on health. But then if they only do the socialize and campaign about the health issues, but then they are not focused on the strict regulation, it will be the same, because as we know that the society nowadays also think that the pandemic is it's only a common situation. Some people also do not wear the mask, yeah. So it's also will like be useless things, because whenever we do the great videos or we produce the great campaign or the great strategy of communication strategy to influence people about to be careful about this situation, but the government or the society have nothing to do, or they are not support this communication strategy, then it will be useless. So it is called like communication is not the only panacea for the any kinds of problem. It's also happened in Gaza. If you know that Gaza, Palestine, yeah, is having conflict with Israel a long time. Every country or every nation in the world try to help them to make a good condition to them. Even the United States, the United nation also help them with the good negotiate communicate communicator or good negotiator, that since the society of the nation or the regulation of the conflict countries have their own beliefs and our own faith, that the land is about have to be fight for. So you guys know that until now there is no result ya, bahwa komunikasi yang sudah dilakukan, negosiasi komunikasi yang sudah dilakukan oleh berbagai pihak di terkait dengan konflik Gaza, tidak ada, seperti tidak ada gunanya, karena banyak faktor yang kemudian harus mensupport komunikasi. Tidak hanya komunikasi saja, tetapi juga mungkin regulasi, kemudian keadaan dari bagaimana orang berpikir ya tentang konflik tersebut, society di dalam negara-negaranya juga gitu. So that's all for the last principle. If you guys still have a question, you guys can put your question and we can discuss in the Google Classroom, as well as we can meet in the Zoom for next meeting. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.